Appreciate all of you for stopping by and making the 49ers Report a part of your day. Before we break down these top 5 big-name trade targets for San Francisco, make sure you subscribe to the channel, the largest 49ers news and rumors channel here on YouTube. For free daily videos, hit that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/49erstv. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Senior. Hope all of you are having a phenomenal week. A little bit of a different show coming your way today because it's somewhat silent on the news and rumors front for San Francisco. So we're going to take a look at 5 big-name trade targets that the Niners can go after through the trade market. They've been somewhat silent in free agency so far, and all of these players that we're about to break down, there's been some level of trade rumor discussion hovering around them because their teams could possibly deal them leading up to the 2022 NFL season. So we start off with Christian McCaffrey, running back for the Carolina Panthers. First couple of years of his career coming out of Stanford, the level of production really was phenomenal. But the Carolina Panthers signed him to that long-term contract extension, and it hasn't worked out the last couple of years because he's been off injured. But in 2018 and 2019, he put forward production that really was ridiculous, both as a running back and as a wide receiver. And the Panthers are trying to look forward and move on from him because he's been injured the last 2 years, which has really been a big problem, and it's hindered them from building out the rest of their team, and he's really, really expensive. Now, he could either get traded or at some point, if they can't find a trade partner, he could be outright released. Then you don't have to worry about that lofty contract he signed a couple of years ago. But you look at the production in 2018 and 2019 when he played a combined 32 games. He ran for 2,400 plus yards, nearly 2,500 in fact. He caught 223 balls for nearly 2,000 receiving yards for a combined 32 touchdowns. That right there is absolutely ridiculous. But the last 2 years, he's gone from 32 games played to only 10. The carries have gone down to 158, 667 rushing yards, only 54 grabs, 492 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So when he's on the field, he can produce. The problem with Christian McCaffrey the last 2 years hasn't been on the field enough, and because of that, the numbers have gone down dramatically. Now, I put him on this list because if you think about Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan's offense, it would be an absolute blast. He can be a 3-down running back, and you can give him the carries out of the shotgun. Off-play action, he can be a threat in the pass game. He can get carries under center as well, but you can line him up out wide as a wide receiver or as a slot wide receiver. So the versatility that Christian McCaffrey has to his game in Kyle Shanahan's offense makes him a very, very appealing option because when he's okay, when he's healthy, he can light the league on fire, and he is an absolutely special player. He just has run into a lot of injury issues the last couple of years. The same can be said for Saquon Barkley of the New York Giants. Now, Joe Schoen, first-year general manager, said the other day that he hasn't made a call in trying to trade Saquon Barkley. But I can guarantee you this, there are other teams calling the New York Football Giants. Similar story between Barkley and McCaffrey. In 2018, 16 games played. Saquon Barkley, the former number 2 pick, which is just ridiculous as a running back, by the way, to go number 2. That's Boomer Dave Gettleman for you. But he lived up to those lofty expectations in 2018. 1,300 rushing yards, 5 yards per carry, 15 total touchdowns, and 91 receptions. Unfortunately for him, though, he's been injured much more than Christian McCaffrey and has a more severe injury than Christian McCaffrey as he tore his ACL back in 2020. And as you can see, as evidenced by the numbers, they too have gone down significantly. And is he the same player as he was back in 2018? We're now in 2022, folks, so we're a long time removed from that 2018 season. Now, the problem with McCaffrey, the problem with Saquon Barkley, they're making a lot of money. McCaffrey on the contract extension, Saquon Barkley going into the final year of his rookie contract. And I don't like paying big money to running backs, but McCaffrey and Barkley are special players, they're special talents, and they're elite players when they're both healthy. Unfortunately for both of them, they're getting paid a lot of money for a little production, but do you take a chance? Do you take a swing on some of these premier running backs? If you could pick one, who would you go with between McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley? Your opportunity to be a part of the show and treat that comment section like a Sports Talk Radio call-in line. So type CM for Christian McCaffrey or SB for Saquon Barkley. We stay in the NFC West now. DK Metcalf. Now, the Seattle Seahawks taking some calls from other teams on whether or not they want to trade DK Metcalf, who, like Deebo Samuel, same member of that draft class as well as A.J. Brown, is looking for a new contract extension. And I'm intrigued by DK Metcalf for a couple of reasons. Obviously, he has so much physical upside, and his level of production in the first 3 years of his career with Russell Wilson has been outstanding. DK Metcalf, to me, is like a modern-day Terrell Owens. DK Metcalf, a little bit taller than T.O., 6'4", 235, to T.O., who's about 6'3", 225 pounds, but the games are very, very similar, and DK coming out of Ole Miss, a little bit overlooked in the NFL draft, and there were questions about him. Terrell Owens, on the other hand, coming out of Tennessee Chattanooga, drafted in the 3rd round, and there were questions about him coming out of the college ranks. But immediately, both of those guys were able to put forward just really, really impressive levels of production, and they are so physically imposing. You can line them up anywhere on the field. They can be vertical deep threats, but also they have multiple routes to their route tree, and they can be relied upon to make the big plays and also really just cause havoc toward opposing defenses after the catch because they are just so built largely in stature. Now, DK Metcalf's career so far, so much production. First year, 58 grabs, followed by 83 and 75. Rookie year, 900 receiving yards and 7 tutties. Second year, he really breaks out with 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns. And then in 2021, with Russell Wilson out for a couple of games, still reeled in 75 balls for 967 yards and 12 touchdowns. I highly doubt that the Seattle Seahawks would trade him to the San Francisco 49ers within the division, but the idea is certainly appealing because him with Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle would make this offense one of the best in the National Football League and give Trey Lance, the presumed starter, another elite weapon on the outside. So what would you give up for DK Metcalf? Get creative and be honest with me. Put together some trade packages into the comment section down below. Now here at Chat Sports, we continue to evolve and grow to the platforms that you as the viewers and the consumers use, and that includes one of our new partners here at Chat Sports, and that is Rumble. You can find exclusive content and more 49ers news and rumors content by simply plugging in that link down below, rumble.com/49erstv. I'll put it in the comment section in the description for you. And we also have a little bit of a competition going on here within the walls here at Chat Sports because competition brings the best out of everybody, people. Chicago Bears now beating us in terms of subscribers, 397 subs to 242. So let's do our due diligence. Let's show up, show out, and show Chicago that they got nothing on the San Francisco 49ers, just like they didn't this past season on the football field at Soldier. Rumble.com/49erstv. Hit that green subscribe button and show some love to Chat Sports and the 49ers Report. From the offensive side of the football to the defensive side of the football, another big-name trade target out there where there have been a lot of trade rumors revolving around him. That's James Bradberry, the cornerback for New York, who got paid the big-time bucks coming over from Carolina and was good to start his Giants career, but has tailed off since then. Now, 2020 and 2021, 61.5% completion percentage when he was targeted, only gave up 56 catches on 91 targets, 3 picks, 18 pass breakups. That's really good for 587 yards and only 4 touchdowns. But since then, it ain't been pretty. Completion percentage up a little bit, but the targets and the receptions up a lot. The interceptions down just a tad. Yards up a lot. Almost 300, and the touchdowns up a lot as well. Now, James Bradberry went to New York, and the thought was, okay, he can be a bona fide number 1 cornerback. And originally, it looked as though he was going to live up to that billing. I think he more slates as a number 2 cornerback. It all comes down to the price tag for me. Yes, he's getting paid a lot of money, but also what do the Giants want in a trade for James Bradberry? And his fit on the Niners defense, I think, would be much better than it is with the New York Giants because he wouldn't have to be cornerback number 1. He could be cornerback number 2 behind Charvarius Ward alongside Emmanuel Mosley, Ambry Thomas, and Deommodore Lenoir. For those reasons, I'm somewhat intrigued because I think in this defense, he'd be a good scheme fit because there are a lot of good complementary pieces around him. Big name trade target number 5, Bradley Chubb of the Denver Broncos. Going into the final year of his rookie contract, was a high round pick in the first round, top pick out of NC State, and looked to be on a star trajectory, right? Injury issues have derailed him as well. And what's the common theme with a lot of these guys? McCaffrey, Saquon, Bradley Chubb, they suffered their fair share of injuries, and because of that, the production has been impacted. But he comes into the league opposite of Von Miller, and in 2018 has 12 sacks his rookie year, finished third in Rookie of the Year voting. 2019, season cut short, only played 4 games. 2020, 14 games played, 7.5 sacks. Pretty solid. And in 2021, once again, injury-plagued season, only 7 games played, 0 sacks. Goose egg. And that's a big reason why Denver, with a fortified defense, a very, very good defense, and now with Russell Wilson, they have not had contract negotiation talks with Bradley Chubb. They want to see how he can play in the final year of his contract, and with him as well as the 4 other players on this list, a lot of trade buzz with him because teams and organizations look at players like this, and they're like, okay, the ability's there, the pedigree's there, the production has been there, but for a variety of reasons, scheme fit. Maybe something going on in their personal life. Maybe because they've suffered some of these injuries. The production is dipped, but if you put him into our system and you put Bradley Chubb opposite of Nick Bosa, my goodness, maybe he can get back to that 2018 form. Now, we just went over these 5 players, big-name trade targets, who San Francisco can go out and acquire. Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, DK Metcalf, James Bradberry, as well as Bradley Chubb. With that, I ask you this question before we hop on out of here. Name a player you want the Niners to trade for. It can be one of the 5 or other players out there. Either way, I want to know who you got. And thanks for watching today's show.